Welcome to the podcast where we've taken something old, our viewing of the Dalek Masterplan 1 and 3 reconstructions, and now are going to compare it with something new, our viewing of the newly returned episodes, and add something borrowed. Well, I mean, we've been chatting with other people, so we're bound to have absorbed some of their thoughts to make something who. So hello, I'm Richard, and if not hot on the heels of the release of these episodes, we're perhaps still ahead of our usual lukewarm takes on new Doctor Who. It would be hard to overstate how obsessed we all are by missing episodes of Doctor Who. So last week's arrival on iPlayer and then the screening on Saturday has left us abuzz. And following Something Who 125, when we discussed the episodes based on recons and talked about what we were missing by not being able to see them, we'll see whether we got it right and how much we've learned by seeing the stories. So without further ado, let me introduce some other missing episode aficionados. And first off, it's Omnirumor cataloguer, missing episodes expert and beloved Big Finish writer, it's Paul.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Yes.
Yeah.
Paul here, beloved something or other.
Yeah. At least you didn't welcome me to my own podcast. That's good. And then we have scientist and astronomy writer, it's Giles.
Hello, yeah, we've reconvened the Galactic Council, but the one that looks like a Christmas tree has gone missing, appropriately.
Yeah.
Let's see if he ever returns.
We will, yeah.
Yes.
Go on.
I was just going to remind the listener that last time we discussed Daleks Masterplan, our missing fourth member, the delegate from the Northern Galaxies, had already seen the episode because he was at the extra special first public-private screening, and he was doing a very good job of treading the very fine line of teasing us in our speculations and guiding our thoughts. And we were all looking forward to having him back to say, you know, I told you so, or haha, you didn't expect that, did you? But he's not here. So we're going to have to find another angle.
Yeah, indeed. Well, look, let's start off by talking about how we got to actually see the episodes. And I guess in the timeline, after Gav, it was me. I woke up very early on Friday morning. Actually, for some reason, probably to do with my age, I wake up very early all the time these days. But
TMA. No, TMA.
Yeah, one of those two. But for one day only, on Friday, April the 3rd, it actually made sense to be up at 6 a.m. because that was when, sort of around about 6:02, I think, when the episodes appeared.
Was it?
On the iPlayer. So I got,
yes.
at 6 o'clock, I took a photograph of my television with season 3 and no episodes 1 and 3 of the Dalek Masterplan. And then round about 6:02, having refreshed several times, there it was.
Hey,
the nightmare.
Did you take another photo? Did you take another photo?
I took another photograph.
Before and after.
Indeed.
Something to show the grandchildren.
Absolutely, yeah.
Well done. I'm glad. A born cataloguer.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's probably less than vital stuff. But anyway, you know,
you weren't supposed to be the next person to see it, of course, were you? The BBC was supposed to wait till a couple of minutes after the start of the screening, and for some reason, which has not been adequately explored, brought it forward 24 hours.
Yeah, so
or 36.
If it had happened at the time of the screening, then I would have been the last to see it because I was actually sitting in a car at that time. So yeah, I probably wouldn't have watched it until either Saturday evening or Sunday morning. So from my point of view, it was propitious, I suppose, that it turned up on the Friday morning because I was able to enjoy it at my leisure. Now, I appreciate that probably, you know, wasn't ideal for the pair of you who were looking to...
Yeah, no, it propitious us off. I am very pleased for you and everybody. It's a very egalitarian decision of the BBC to have made. I mean, I was surprised there wasn't more an uproar about it initially being shown to, I don't know, elite fans who could get access to these screenings. Anyway, I did not have any problem waiting 24, however many hours it was. I don't do maths on a Wednesday evening. Did you, Giles? Did you have any trouble waiting?
Not really. Had to stay off, like avoiding social media kind of thing was probably more of the...
Yeah, I see, yes. But we're both very...
avoiding the episodes themselves. So I
We're
thought
very
I'd better
measured, sort of laid back
go
kind of
into
people,
Perda.
aren't we? We're not the sort to get het up about it.
Yeah.
I did the same thing as you, I think, at the screening. So I watched 1, 2, and 3 in that order. So, sadly, I suppose what that meant was by about 7:15, there were no more missing episodes to watch, until the next one comes back. But on the other hand, you've got to watch them at some point. There's no point in keeping them missing forever.
No, that's a very philosophical attitude, if a rather obvious and commonplace thing to say. But
I do know people who have like Doctor Who episodes they've never watched. Specifically said it got something in reserve. Yeah,
I know some.
Is it Reese? Is it Reese's? Yeah.
We'll see. You've
saving the Muscovine Draco.
Oh right, saving a good one. Yeah, I'm saving Underworld.
Yeah.
Which I have seen, but it's the only one I haven't seen again. And I'm really hoping that Richard, you'll save it till the last episode of this podcast.
Yeah. That I'm saving Creature from the Pit.
Oh yeah.
But mainly by accident. I don't honestly know why I haven't watched it yet.
We've wandered off again. We're talking about Underworld now. Creature from the Pit. This was supposed to be a tighter, more controlled and disciplined episode. Now, so are you keen for us to talk about the event then, rather than you talking about your lonely bladder-fueled experience in Cornwall?
I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed to have missed out. So I'm hoping to get a vicarious thrill by hearing about your experiences.
Yeah. Despite my practiced hand at getting tickets for Glastonbury and other events that sell out in a split second, I didn't manage to get one for this. But a good friend of mine came to the rescue. And one day I might even pay him.
Well, I was going to double. I was going to double it up with TV. I was just going to double it up with the TV movie tickets, but that was a complete blowout today.
Oh, I forgot about that. I see. Okay.
Yeah, that went on sale, and no, sir, no. Position 1800 and something in the queue.
Good grief.
1800.
So yes, yeah. Well, in fairness, I don't think they were all rabid Doctor Who fans, because I think it was the there was also a Del Toro season with the man himself doing some intros and things. So I think he was partly responsible for the demand. But I wouldn't be surprised if some Del Toro fans thought, "Oh, I'll have some Paul McGann while I'm here, while I'm logged in. Snap up some of those tickets."
Yep. Sell them on. Mark them up, sell them on.
Yeah. Well, quite. Yeah. So it's the returns market for me, if I have any luck at all.
And Riverside, these Riverside events are even more hotly fought after because it's smaller and there are fewer seats.
Well,
so it makes us actually.
I was going to say actually that it reminds me a little bit of that sketch from the Not 9 o'clock news in the late 70s, early 80s with Rowan Atkinson playing the vicar at Songs of Praise. That the church is full. He said it wasn't like this last week. Where were you, bastards? And it was a little bit like that. I think with Riverside, in that we've been to many events there where it was half full because it was just an ordinary screening. But as soon as something exciting goes on, suddenly the whole thing sold out in seconds.
We were sharing it with at least a couple of other events. There was some sort of folk music singer-songwriter in the evening, but for most of the day there was a disco blaring away in the foyer. I seem to remember having a bit of a dance as we left 12 hours later. Did that happen, Giles? Did I?
I don't remember you dancing.
No.
Yeah. And then and Alice in Wonderland and a boat race.
So anyway, we got there, us ordinary members of the public, and we sort of were milling about with the other members of the public. While that Gav idiot who is sometimes on the podcast, he was nowhere to be seen, was he? I think he was in the green room, draping himself out.
In the green room, darling.
All the celebrities. It was really quite distasteful. So I imagine. But
why are they always green, those rooms? Does anyone know?
What?
Why are those rooms always green?
Oh, good question.
It's never the pink room or the red room.
Paul, you're a lovey. You're a thespian. You must know.
I'm afraid I could make something up.
Green with envy?
Yeah, they're not as green as their salad looking. That's not an expression. It's cabbage looking, isn't it? Damn it. I don't like being in green rooms. In the brief period when I was, what's the word, on the other side of the barrier.
Yeah.
I used to just sit in the green room staring at the celebrities in awe, just as much as I would have done if I was outside.
Yeah.
So I didn't really like it. I can't talk to them as equals because they're not. They're not. They're nowhere near on my level.
Did you put them off their stride?
So, what was the first celebrity you saw in the foyer at Riverside, Giles?
Probably that's that noted occasional visitor to these shores, Tim Burrows. Was wandering.
He was there, yeah. I mean, God, he
was there.
He's done well for himself. He started off.
There you go.
Yeah, one of us, Tarsus, didn't he? And now
I can remember when it was knee high to a grasshopper.
He was
denying all knowledge of the Omni-Rumour.
Sue Malden wasn't. Oh, Sue Malden wasn't. She was in the green room as well.
Oh, right.
She probably had a long journey, needed to sit down. Ian Levine was there.
Yes.
Yep. It won't be an event without
Ian Levine. Yes. Mr. Hammer smashed television.
Yes, quite.
Yes.
Moffat strode through at one point.
He did indeed.
He's such a man of the people. He didn't go round the. He wasn't ushered round the side entrance to avoid us. He came through.
Yes. Nice.
Didn't hang about.
Yeah.
While we were waiting, what was the most exciting thing that happened? We got to meet some of our fans, didn't we? Some Something Who listeners.
No,
don't. Or did you not? Yes. Did they just talk to me?
Yes, I think there were a couple of people that mentioned chortling. Yes, chortling.
It's a little bizarre to be recognised by one's voice. I mean, nice to hear good things, flattering things about our contribution to society.
Yes, indeed.
And slightly, I'm still not quite sure what I make of being.
Sketch went down pretty well.
Not quite sure what I make of being told that I don't look anything like they imagined. One fan of mine said this, and I said, "Well, what am I, better or worse?" And much better, much better. So I can't imagine what kind of hideous uggo he thought. Do I have an ugly voice? What does my voice conjure up? No. David Mitchell, I suppose.
It sounds frightfully cultured, I would say.
I don't know.
Some people like David Mitchell.
I think they think we all look like Zephon.
Yeah, that must be it. By the way, if you're listening, which of course you are, I apologise for making sport with your lovely comments. It's very nice talking to you. I apologise, but I mean, what else would you expect from me?
I mean, look, it's super because I've been to several events and no one's ever heard of Something Who, so it's lovely to know that there are some people who have.
Oh right. Oh good. What a shame you missed this one.
Yes, yeah.
Probably go back to the default setting next.
I got nobbled by someone years ago waiting in the returns queue for 5 Doctors at BFI, which was another one I didn't get into at the time and was queuing up in the returns, and people in front of me said, "You want something new?" There you go. And that was when this podcast was less than half its present size.
Had they heard your low rumble echoing backwards down the line?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. They recognised me from the copy of The Guardian under my arm and my speech impediments.
And they said, "Oh, you sound much less roomy than you do on the podcast." I thought sounds like you're standing right next to me. It's uncanny. And then, and we did see Gav, I think, flit past, as indeed he has tonight on this podcast.
In and out. He came and went like a summer's breeze, was it? In the
summer cloud.
Cloud's right, Frontios,
Yeah. Don't misquote Frontios, Amy.
Sorry.
Stop getting Frontios wrong.
Stop getting Frontios wrong, Richard.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
So there was. And there was a great anticipation in the room, wasn't there, Giles? I'm trying to set a more vivid picture.
Yes.
But,
we were all having to avoid Tony Carroll, not Scottish Anthony Carroll, but Norfolk Anthony Carroll, because he had also watched it on Saturday.
He was spoilerific.
On Friday.
Shouldn't be allowed.
Yeah, and so he's one of those people who can't resist dropping little hints and things. So we put him in a corner and pointed at him, and Gav was coming around and polling everyone for whether or not they'd resisted
the
temptations of the iPlayer.
By the time he got to us, he and when we both said no, we haven't watched it, we've resisted. He said that brought the total to 7, but which made it sound like a calamity. That, what was it, about 200-seater, that venue?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. But then the same question was put to the assembled crowd in the auditorium, and most of the hands shot up. So I think he must have been unlucky in who he chose to ask, Gav. Or maybe we just lied to him.
Yeah. Well, everyone's just keen to please lovely Toby.
Yes. Toby. Yeah. I mean, of course, there's not really much we can say. The reason we're harping on about the experience in the foyer and in the bar beforehand is because everyone's seen the panels, because they have been released to the public, haven't they? Have they? I'm assuming they have. Have they?
I've listened to the one with Peter Purves in. That certainly has hit YouTube, and certainly fragments of bits of the panels I've seen as well.
Oh.
So,
have Film is Fabulous not put up official recordings anywhere?
As I say, the panel with Peter Purves was an official Film is Fabulous one. I'm not sure if the other two have gone up.
Right. But audio only.
Audio only.
They've lost the lost the visuals already. Oh, dear. Nothing changes.
Marvellous. We have missing episode launches.
Perhaps somebody can tell us what it was like in the green room. I don't know if we...
Am I here yet?
Gavin!
Oh, it's you.
Hello. It's a delegate from the outer galaxies.
I was enjoying talking about you, and now I've got to stop. It's good. There's plenty more gags at your expense. Oh, well. Hi, Gav. How much of the wonderful events that we are just beginning to describe was organised entirely by your good self, sir? Because I think I may have underappreciated just how important you were to it.
Well, none of it, really. I mean,
that's not what I heard.
I arranged for a Dalek to be there, but that's about it.
Certainly. What about getting some of the star turns? Did you open your your Rolodex to John?
I trumpeted the importance of Nick Briggs, part of the Doctor Who ecosystem. But I don't think I was alone in doing that. I'm sure that Toby and other people have helped John understand what is vital to any Doctor Who event.
It's Toby in his pink jacket. It was, I mean, everyone was agreed it was a masterclass. It was one of his best speaking engagements yet, wasn't it?
He was sartorially and linguistically on top form.
Top of his game.
Top of his sartorial excellence.
I tell you what, you won't know this, Richard, because you've never actually met anyone who listens to the podcast, which is in real life, which is interesting that you manage to retain your enthusiasm, despite, as far as you're aware, just shouting into the wind. But we spoke to a few, and they love the behind-the-scenes stuff. It's their favourite bit. They love to imagine what we look like, where we're sitting, what we're wearing. I mean, not all of them, but certainly a few. Certainly a few that I met. Yeah.
I was a bit offended on Giles's behalf that there was one particular fan that was very excited to meet me and mildly interested when I pointed out you were there, Paul. And I said, "Here is Giles," and he'd kind of wandered off at that point. Didn't even ask where Richard was. So what can I say?
There you go.
That's that affairs.
Hiding under the table as usual.
Let's put us all in our respective places.
In all fairness, I don't think for 1 second he's ever listened to this podcast, but I think he was being polite.
Well,
you can say whatever you want about him because he won't hear it.
Watch. How was the atmosphere in the green room? Was everyone just chomping on caviar and swilling champagne, or was there a sense of anticipation for the task ahead?
Do you know how infuriating it was listening to you not knowing the etymology of green room whilst I wasn't being let into the Zoom call? Yeah, I've been here for about 20 minutes.
Did you?
So I was functionally one of our listeners.
Did our least popular contributor not let you in?
So in theatre, the chemical lime is used traditionally for stage lights, which is where we get the phrase limelight.
Yep.
And consequently, if you had lime lights shining in your face for long periods, it would affect your vision. And then when you would retire to a neutrally coloured room, everything would look green as a result of the limelight.
Good Lord.
So the green room is a visual aberration produced by the limelight.
Well, thank you for that.
And if you're welcome, and you were stumbling around, considering guessing or lying, and I was screaming at the radio. But unlike all our other infuriated listeners, through the magic of Zoom, I've been deposited into this podcast. Maybe this could be a future feature where at random you pick one listener to join on a Zoom call and correct any facts that we may have made up in the last 15 minutes.
When you arrived, I feel I should have said, "Did you win a competition?" I will tell your green room limelight story to all my Andram friends next time I'm allowed in a theatre.
I would fact check it first.
Yes, I don't believe a word of it personally, but I was going to pass it on and make it somebody else's problem.
I would give it about an 80 to 85% confidence, but there's a lot of folk etymologies out there that trip you up because they sound so logical and compelling. Yeah.
Well, that one didn't even sound logical or compelling to me, but
well, you've got high standards of etymology. So, do you know about the phrase?
Where do the insects come into it?
The insects.
Which phrase?
the etymology.
That's entomology.
Yeah.
Oh.
Do you know about the etymology of stolen thunder?
Oh God.
Because this is another theatre one. So it was. Right. I mean, I've lost all of the hard facts, but I can give you the broad anecdote, and that was that there was a chap who worked in the theatre.
Yes.
He developed an innovative method of making meteorological sound effects for the stage, and I think his show folded or went bankrupt or he got terrible reviews, I think, and his show stopped. And then another production started up. And I can't remember what they borrowed from him, whether it was an actor or a script or something, but they also stole his meteorological innovations. And the story goes something like, in the middle, so he then went to this rival production, and in the middle of Act 1, when they'd set off his meteorological auditory extravaganza, the story goes that he stood up in the theatre and he says, I'm not 100% sure of the entire anecdote, but he says something like, not only did they steal my leading lady, but they've stolen my thunder as well. And that's the origin of stolen thunder. It was a theft of a theatrical sound effect.
A bit like Rolf Harris's wobble board, was it?
Well, the wobble board, yeah.
Not only have you stolen my didgeridoo, but you've stolen my thunder as well.
I thought it was a wobble ball, but I've got a feeling I once read that it was rolling a cannonball across the back of the stage. I don't know where I read that, or if I
Toby
dreamt
did
it.
a good joke about Vegemite, didn't he?
Yes, it was very good.
It's an extraordinary thing about that panel. Sorry, carry on. Wherever you were up to, I'll join in at the appropriate time. I've come in and caused chaos.
Yes, well, thank you for giving such a vivid description of the atmosphere in the green room. I can just imagine a load of partially blinded actors stumbling around with
So in the green room, it was a buzz with activity. I asked Paul Vanezis to explain this. This sounds like a joke and isn't. I asked Paul Vanezis to explain cutting copies to me, and he did his best, and I can't remember. And then later, he explained it again on stage, and I still can't remember. But also in the green room were Adrienne Hill's daughter and granddaughter.
Oh.
And there was some coronation chicken wraps. So I had a couple of them.
Oh.
And I had, I think, 3 Diet Cokes.
Hey, was it as good as the Big Finish lunch? Hey?
I wouldn't know. I've never been there. I've never floated in those circles, Paul.
Well, that's good. That's good. Good.
So the coronation wraps never got to see the missing episodes. They're consumed before they were screened.
Unless they could peer through my belly button. I'd ingested.
Yeah.
But I met Chris Chapman for the first time, I think, in real life.
Ah, yes.
He didn't have his drone, so I wasn't sure it was him. I think that's the end of the extraordinary events in the green room.
So, are we approaching? Where have we got to? We've almost done it in chronology. chronological order. Oh.
Well, if you want to jump back, I had to handle a Dalek into position. That was my sole responsibility for the day. Oh, I did a panel as well on stage. But my really important responsibility for the day was to get a Dalek to the venue.
Is that because you've been... Sorry, is it because you've been so appalled by the travesty of the Dalek that's been in the Riverside for the last I don't know how long?
Yes. Yeah.
Did you take it down in the lift? Did you do any gags like at the top of the stairs? Look, giving it a little side eye saying...
We were explicitly told it wouldn't fit in the lift and therefore we couldn't.
Oh.
So we had to rumble it across the street.
Ah.
And then at the end of the event, we discovered that there was a much easier way to get it into the building and through the doors, so we did that instead.
I thought you were going to tell us that it was perfectly able to navigate the staircase and that we've been misapprehending Daleks all this time.
It was able to navigate the staircase very, very easily by being broken into multiple pieces and lugged clumsily down the stairs by me and Ian.
Now, I know how we can get back on track. Because we've arrived at the beginning of the afternoon session at Riverside. Toby's regaled us with a few jokes, and then the lights dim, and the film projector starts up, and here we have it. The nightmare begins. So, how did it measure up to our fevered speculations of 3 weeks ago?
Well, the first thing to note is they rather gorgeously left the countdown leader on.
Oh, yeah.
Created a frisson of excitement throughout the auditorium that genuinely produced quite a reaction. Everyone was very excited by that.
Yeah. And I suppose it is actually mildly relevant based on what Vanessa has told us about cutting copies later on. Is it?
Is it? Well,
is it?
Isn't it? You need to tell me what you've learned about cutting copies.
Okay. They're an 80s band that had some chart success with... No, they weren't.
Yeah. I mean, I was quite excited watching The Nightmare Begins just to see The Nightmare Begins appear on screen. It was sort of like... Because you sort of click on the iPlayer and you get the sort of Doctor Who titles. Well, I mean, that could be anything. And I mean, I'd already seen that probably on the loose cannon reconstruction I'd watched not 3 weeks previously. But to actually have moving footage of Mr. Purvis and his nipple and then have the Nightmare Begins superimposed over the top of it. I mean, that was the name of the story that was given in the Radio Times 10th anniversary special that I read in the 70s. Not my own copy, I have to say. It was borrowed from... Simon Ellsworth. But yeah, it was bringing something out of the depths of my memory there.
So there we have it. The first big surprise. A nipple. I mean, any nipple in Doctor Who would be a surprise, I think. So it didn't really become de rigueur until Jason Connery a couple of decades later. But, he's not like his dad, is he? Sorry, that's like Jason Connery's story. Watching him and him and Maxine from Coronation Street in an afternoon matinee performance of The Blue Room, famous sexy David Hare play in Eastbourne. A lot of bewildered pensioners looking at his old chap. And comparing it to their imaginings of his old chap. Let's get back on topic, please.
Yeah, I'd echo. There was something. Yeah, I was almost holding my breath in the cinema, waiting for the actual moment waiting for the credits to be over and to actually see something different. Up until that point, there was just this lingering suspicion that it might all be some ghastly practical joke.
Oh, bless.
The bell of doom hoax.
Well, we did wonder whether it could have been lost. Could have been lost since Leicester, and then the 4 people in that cinema would have been the only people in 60 years.
Lost since Leicester's.
Leicester's cinema.
Yeah.
So, what were they playing it from? Were they playing the original films, though?
No.
Good.
Riverside doesn't have a film projector that, as far as I'm aware. Unless it's hidden around the back.
By the bins.
But clearly not the same digital file from the iPlayer then if you were getting the countdown clock.
Yeah. All shiny, new, restored, but not vid-fired.
Mm-hmm.
No. And not with the existing 35mm film clips put back in.
No, as God intended.
Mm.
So you told us, I think, was it you who said that, or did I hear this from elsewhere, that when you watched it at Leicester, it was sort of fairly low contrast and there was sort of quite a bit of flickering or damage to the film.
Yeah, it was the raw scan at Leicester. So yeah, a bit of emulsion damage, perhaps. Much wider frame, less cropping, lower contrast.
Yeah.
As part of the restoration, they crop it to ensure that there's no flickering edge.
Yes.
Yes, I did hear some comment about that, yeah.
Is that really the only way to do it? It's a shame to lose so much edge of field of vision action, I think.
So this means you've still seen some Doctor Who that we haven't, Gavin.
I have. I've seen some excellent fringes.
Yeah. And what is beyond the fringe?
Well, it didn't allow me to see any boom microphones or anything additionally around the edges. Yeah. So, what was everyone's? How did you all actually feel as Richard said, as the title sequence ended and it became a reality?
I've been in a sort of weirdly lethargic mental limbo since it was announced. I was wondering why I hadn't got more excited. I was wondering if it was just age. But finally, when I could see it, when it started, when it started moving, slowly my brain came to life and I started to feel a little tingle of excitement. I remembered from, what was the first? Downloading some clips of Enemy of the World back in 2013. Our broadband was down for the release of Web and Enemy. It was exactly the wrong time to lose the broadband. And why we've stayed with EE for another 13 years, I don't know. But yes, so I was sort of downloading the trailer over a 56k modem or something. So that added to the thrill. But anyway, yes, I felt the familiar thrill. Thank God for that. I was thrilled to feel the thrill. Everyone else?
It's always hard to assess these things watching it first time. And I felt like, okay, we've familiarised ourselves slightly with the, more than slightly from doing our preview episode. So I felt like my overall thing, it was interesting watching it all unfold. And yes, there were some nice unexpected moments and stuff like that. But in general, I felt like it was, I don't know, I'm going to have to watch it a few more times to really form my assessment of it. It's very, very good, to state the bleeding obvious. And obviously Canfield does a great job of directing it and, like seeing it with moving images and obviously we didn't even have telesnaps for this, so we were very limited in what we have. It didn't surprise me to sort of spoil my reaction to. It didn't seem to have quite as many instant surprises in it as episode 3. Oh, there you go. There's a good analogy. This was like watching Web of Fear, as opposed to watching episode 3. Watching episode 3 was like watching Enemy of the World.
Yeah.
In some, it felt like episode 3 had things like you go, what? Okay, whole loads of things that I didn't expect. This mostly just felt like here's a very proficient, what I would kind of expect from Canfield, although, albeit in Canfield somewhat earlier days anyway. But, the good direction. Oh, the other thing, it made me appreciate the fact that up until now, so much 60s Dalek stuff that we've had, most of what we've had to work with has been directed by Richard Bloody Martin, hasn't it? Yeah. One episode from Martin and a handful from Chris Barry.
Yeah. So look, I mean, here's the thing that I felt having watched those episodes. So I'd always held the story in high regard, but I also felt it was a sort of vicarious opinion. I felt like other people had told me it was great, and I'd sort of absorbed that, and I kind of half believed it. But it wasn't my own opinion. I didn't really have much of an opinion about Dalek Masterplan. I watched 1, 2, and 3 on Friday morning back to back, and I felt, by the end of that, for the first time, I also now love Dalek Masterplan in a way that had sort of bounced off me until that point. It felt so much more visceral. There was, in particular, episode 3. That was the one that kind of I felt, oh wow, it's got so much in it. But the whole spread of it, the whole 75 minutes, I thought, now I understand, I guess, why everyone else has been raving about it, and if only there's an opportunity to see some other bits here and there as well. You can't help come to the end of 75 minutes like that and think, oh, that's it then. There's no more missing stuff to see. But it has completely changed, I think, how personally interested I am in that story.
It's always had a slight this burden of being a certain super fan, insisting very loudly and stridently that it was the greatest Doctor Who story of all time, and given that certain super fans' opinions about a variety of other things tend to be wildly at odds with my own. I think, I've always sort of taken that with a pinch of salt, but I start to see the from what we can see here, it is top grade stuff. And I did feel watching the episode 2, that was really like having a sort of half a return there as well, because we've suddenly got context for it. As opposed to the 3 orphans we've had have been so spaced out that they might as well be from different stories.
Yes, that's very true.
And suddenly having two sitting in its place and understanding it's a bit like going back to the analogy, a bit like the existing episode of Enemy, and seeing how that actually fits into the context.
Three icons of my 1970s childhood as well. Brian Cant from Play School, Play Away, and Campbell Green. Nick Courtney, who was the Brigadier in my earliest Doctor Who watching in the early 70s, and then Peter Purvis, from the sort of Holy Trinity era of Val Pete and John of Blue Peter, and all 3 of them in one episode, The Nightmare Begins. And all before they, I suppose Peter Purvis was in the act of becoming famous here, but before they became famous for the thing that they mainly did. And I was thinking to myself, well, do you credit Camfield? Is that great direction, or actually are they so beloved because they were prepared to put in great performances in something that they knew didn't really matter all that much, but they were going to, determined to give it a really good go. All 3 of them I really enjoyed in that episode 1.
Well, directors hire good actors that they know and trust. And when Camfield came to cast for Web of Fear, he obviously knew that Nick Courtney was good for the job, and because of Masterplan, almost we've ended up with the Brigadier, because he's thought, well, that's a solid militaristic role. I can see him in this again. Little knowing that the Brigadier would live somewhat longer than Brett Vion.
Yes, it's interesting because again, we're talking outside of the context of the first episode, but you start to see, certainly by episode 3, you get moments of Courtney, like showing humour and those character development.
He has a wryness, doesn't he?
And you get that thing that we obviously we love with the Brig, but as you say, you don't really get that in Web of Fear. As such, he doesn't. Doesn't get.
He's in some ways he's more like the Brigadier in Masterplan than he is when he starts in Web of Fear. It takes him a while to soften a bit. The little grandpa joke in episode 3 sounds like the Brigadier talking to the Doctor.
I'm glad we watched it and studied it in advance because being familiar with this story, even in that much detail, meant I could relax and watch it without thinking what's going on. Possibly the only drawback was, I mean, Gav was very good at not spoiling too much, but I was fixated on Brian Cant's beard from the moment he arrived. So I didn't miss its changing length, and I wasn't disappointed. I've got a top 3 moments now. I had no particular moments that I wanted to look out for, or that I was intrigued to see how they were visualized. In fact, I wouldn't say there were moments. I liked the bald men, and I was surprised how ordinary they were. If they hadn't all been bald, if you drew hair, they would have just looked like any other half-dozen functionaries milling around, sitting at a desk, milling around in the background. I thought from the photographs, and admittedly in most of those they're asking around with Hartnell, but I mean, you think having given them such a striking look, they would be doing something weird and alien-esque, as Rimmer would say. Or possibly
like using their heads in the control system somehow.
Oh God, yeah, but no, they're just
I've always had that sort of Lobot vibe from them.
And yet,
was it Lobot from Empire Strikes Back? Yeah,
they're completely normal. In fact, my favourite camera shot. I mean, obviously, the panning shot with the Dalek behind the rails, which suddenly pulls focus. I'm going to say pulls focus. That's probably not what it does. Which suddenly focuses on Hartnell in the foreground. That's too obvious a choice for the most startling piece of direction. So I like but I just like that rather ordinary. Well, what is it? Is it panning and pulling forward? Anyway, the first shots in the Space Control Center of the bald men working their way around the table, past 1 bald man, 2 bald men, 3 bald men, 4, just going about their business. We get similar shots of the delegates in part 2, but possibly because of the limitation of the set, I think this is a better shot. And I'm glad they resisted the temptation to get them to do anything bizarre. None of them are pretending to be in zero gravity, like the delegate with the blobs on. None of them are pushing the table. 2 of them are just having a chat as the camera pans past to our Greek chorus.
Yeah.
So yes, the bald men, and one of them seems to be Nick Pegg.
Yeah.
But that's
They're if anything less weird than the women in Day of the Daleks. Sitting at desks
yes,
slightly waving hands or whatever.
Yeah, quite. I mean, if I'd only seen part 1 and not 2, I might have come away thinking, God, that Douglas Camfield, he's very grounded, isn't he? He doesn't do anything silly, or just because it's science fiction, he doesn't get people playing aliens to do nonsensical stuff just because it's weird. And then I would see episode 2 where all the actors playing the delegates are doing bizarre things and bizarre physical stuff and the same voice. But there you go. Sarcastic Roald. Is his name Roald as in Dahl?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
I mean, it's obvious from the audio what an interesting pair of characters they are, but you didn't really expect him to be mouthing along sarcastically to Chen's speech, which is very nice. I noticed that the interviewer interviewing Chen, a lot of people were surprised just to see him there at all, but I was surprised it was the actor Kevin Eldon doing it. It wasn't really the actor Kevin Eldon. That was just another one of my lame attempts at a looky-likey. And I was glad to see Chen's weird semi-religious hand gesture of thanks, because he does it in part 2, but when you've only seen it once, it could just be a one-off moment. But seeing it twice begins to look like a pattern. Then you realise it's something he's thought through.
Yes, yeah.
He's done some world building on top of Nation's world building.
Yeah, I mean, the delegate stuff is a bit sillier, but it's nice that they went to the effort of thinking, we're going to give every alien delegate a different type of walk and a different type of clap. No 2 aliens are going to clap in the same way. They're not even going to bang the table in the same way. One's going to have their hand further ahead than the other hand. Yeah, it's not the most sensible of choices, but it's nice that it is a choice, and that they've gone to the effort of thinking, well, this alien can waft and this alien can slink until the alarm goes off, and then they all just exactly the same way. Yeah. What is that about? Why is there one shrieking?
Yeah, I don't know. The guy with the balls on his with balls all over him. He keeps on wafting a bit. Even as he's vaulting over. I love the way they all jump over the table in that. It's more like rather than an intruder. Someone said there's a mouse loose in there. There's a mouse that's got loose in the conference room.
Yeah.
You know, still stand on tables screaming like women in early 60s sitcoms, of which we know nothing, Earthman.
Yeah, I'd forgotten there were bald blokes in episode 2 as well.
Oh, yeah.
In the spa.
In the spa.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Yeah, whatever happens to them?
I was waiting for that. They say they're tied up and left, I forget, somewhere outside, just outside.
Under the rocket motors, directly underneath the rocket motors.
I never take life, not unless my own is immediately threatened. Or unless I
can't be bothered to drag them.
Unless I think of a really amusing way to do it.
Yeah.
The Central Communication Earth stuff, it's funny, the number of things that I was more dismissive of in the audio in terms of necessity, and I was very dismissive of a lot of this story as padding. And I don't know quite why having the visuals changes that opinion so drastically, but I just appreciate a lot more the thought and effort put into the world and the character and the time. Maybe it's just impatience of not having a picture to look at makes me find the dialogue more tiresome. But I've certainly rescinded an awful lot of my dismissiveness. I think the Central Communication stuff's really good and fun and important, building up of Mavic Chen and establishing his importance. Because if you're going to do him as the reveal of the villain at the end of episode 1, you've got to have a decent chunk of time devoted to him being a good guy or a revered man. So it's not all just treading water. It's in service of making sure that you understand how beloved he is, even by the more cynical members of this society, who at least covet his spaceships. But also it's the fun of this switchboard, which is integrated into the space security plot. And I'm not here to do script analysis today, but in Terry Nation's draft, it is basically the switchboard for the space security police specifically. And then although it does, on screen it doesn't really make any difference, but then in the final script, Tosh's version, it's the communication center for the whole Earth system. It's like the interplanetary telecom tower. I don't know, but in Nation's version, it's more like MI5.
It feels a bit more logical that it's a bit more sympathetic that they don't miss the call coming in and maybe don't pay as much attention to it.
There's more stuff to deal with.
Yes, if it was Space Secret Service HQ.
But equally also in Nation's version, they've kind of like, you've got one job and it's to monitor this all going on, which is a man sending the single most important message in spy history, which is that the Daleks are coming and they're watching TV and they miss it. So it's silly, but it's fun, and I really like the fact that it's woven, and as you said, it could be just the chorus and isolated from the plot, but the fact that it's integrated into the little subterfuge of them missing Brett's message, which then necessitates the whole plight of the rest of the episodes, because Mavic Chen, his importance has distracted them.
Yeah,
and I like that little knock-on effect.
Yeah, I do like the framing of that first shot when the interview comes up on screen and it goes in between, so between the camera's looking between our two the chorus characters, and then at the interviewer and Mavic Chen on the screen, and so we're sort of seeing it through their eyes.
Yeah, as someone who's been in quite a lot of control centres over the years for my work, whilst applauding the dedication of people who spend hour after hour after hour, waiting for the alarm to go off. At the same time, it sort of does feel quite believable that, you could have nipped off to the loo or be eating lunch or whatever, and so you don't necessarily see the thing when it comes through.
What year was the Andromeda strain?
Oh, Lord.
Because that has a not dissimilar plot device, doesn't it?
Oh, does it? Okay.
Well, sort of. It reminded me of it. That you've got the technician whose job it is to go screen after screen looking for the red flag in the data, and she basically sort of becomes hypnotized by it to the point where when it flags up on the screen, she misses it, and that results in the outbreak. So yeah, I suppose Richard, what you said reminded me of it, not what happened in Daleks Masterplan.
Yeah,
you've bridged the gap between the Andromeda strain and the Andromeda Galaxy.
69, apparently.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Was that the book or the film? Or both?
The book.
Right.
I've written down here view of sort of moving away from the control centre now, back to Kemble. View of the jungle through the TARDIS doors. I wouldn't have imagined that we'd be able to see that, but that was quite a nice touch.
Really nicely done, yeah. Photographic blow-up done sparingly, so you're not given long enough to digest what you're looking at.
Yeah, was it you that pointed out the reason for the use of the model Dalek on the scanner?
Yeah, so they didn't have to pause in the production to move a prop, so you could keep all 4 silver ones on the other side of the set.
Noisily move it without pausing production.
Yes. Clunking its way.
I mean, Richard Martin would have done, wouldn't he? You'd have seen it
That's the Richard Martin method, yes.
Yes,
got
so
the wrong way around the studio, no doubt, and just anyway.
That Dalek
Yeah, Frankenstein's monster on the way.
As I mentioned at Riverside, that model Dalek is now, I think it's been out of the country and it's now been repatriated and is about to go on display. James Sutton, prop wrangler, is sorting that out, so that's quite exciting. We'll be able to see that again.
There was one thing in this episode that made me pause, which I hadn't thought about when viewing it on the Telesnop Recon. Oh, sorry, not the Telesnop Recon. I'm getting that mistake again. But looking at the Recon, so I guess we've cleared up. I think so. So the first time we talked about it, I think I was under the misapprehension that Brett and Kurt had not seen Daleks. I think it's pretty clear viewing it again that they know what's coming because they're talking about how vital it is they get this message back to Earth, and they wouldn't be saying that, I guess, if it was just that they were stuck on the planet themselves. I think they've kind of understood that there's a threat, and they've seen more or less the same thing as Mark Corey, one way or another.
Yeah, they make all these knowing references to how the guns don't work on them.
Yeah,
although they don't say who they are.
Those things.
But then, so Hartnell does his brilliant spaceship landing acting, not for the last time in this serial. And I think, oh, that's Mavic Chen's ship coming down. But then, no, that happens later in the episode. So I'm not quite sure what it is that he sees coming down halfway through the episode. You know, maybe it's just another spaceship. But it feels like it ought to be Chen's, but it isn't.
Oh.
Yes, that feels like that's the correct placing for Chen's spaceship to land, and that when the visual we get of the Spar landing is too late. But that ruined it for me. I'm glad you didn't like it either.
I guess it's another. Yeah, I guess it's just another delegate arriving.
Yeah, could be because we don't see them until episode 2, do we?
Yeah. Well, we haven't commented on the quite gratuitous dead Brian Cant shot, which was a bit of a you can see why the Australian censors might have taken issue with that. T-zone program for kiddies.
I haven't freeze framed it to study it. Is he just charred?
No, well, I mean, I couldn't see it. I thought he was just grimacing. It didn't look particularly burnt.
He's definitely blackened.
He's definitely, yes. He's
got
a blackened face.
It's all crispy.
Mm.
Wow.
And his eyes and mouth are open.
Yeah.
Someone, I can't remember who, said it reminded them of in the Web of Fear.
Oh, yes.
The what's his name? It's been when he gets released by the intelligence.
Yeah.
Another thing that certainly was a surprise to me, and I thought was nice. I remember commenting when we were talking about this before about the sort of arrival of the TARDIS in front of Brett as a Deus Ex Machina kind of, or Machina X, Machina X Deus. If I've probably haven't conjugated that correctly, but I particularly like that. I love that bit that and we could never have guessed that he stumbles over and he's knackered his radio at that point. And it really is, he's at his lowest ebb. And then the TARDIS materialises.
Yeah.
It's quite a new series in its way. I mean, obviously you'd have had strains of Murray Gold accompanying the TARDIS and give it the full wind machine and everything like that when it turns up. And then whoever the next Doctor is will come gooning out of the TARDIS.
Regarding how much Brett Vine feels or doesn't feel like the Brigadier, I remember thinking he seemed a bit too grumpy to be like the Brigadier when I listened to it. But watching it with all his facial expressions, that softens it a bit, I thought.
A little eyebrow raise here and there.
Yeah. So then, I guess he settled in very quickly. I gather a lot of people are very exercised about, I'm bringing it back to Nipplegate, about just when Stephen Taylor, the astronaut, would change his clothing.
Ah, yes.
And we still don't know, of course, because he's unexpectedly topless, right until he isn't.
For artistic reasons.
But we don't. Is it the beginning of part 2 that he's suddenly in a jacket?
Yeah, he wakes up. Yeah. He wakes up in a jacket. Yeah.
So we don't just see him struggling into his space tunic.
Yeah.
Yeah. That ruined it as well.
It's an unusual. It feels unusual to me of the period. Gav, you've done extensive script archaeology on these, so you might know how much. But it feels, and I think I was talking about this with Ollie Wake, and he was saying he likes it when narratively it doesn't. You don't necessarily spend all the time. You can jump from A to C without necessarily showing them go past point B. If you mean, so things like the fact that they jump to just they're outside of the TARDIS. In that we don't have to show them leaving.
Yeah. It's strange that you have to point this out nowadays because all the young people think that that's a plot hole, don't they? There's this tendency which has risen out of nowhere to call anything you don't see explicitly a plot hole, which needs dealing with.
It's funny. I'd never perceived that there was a gap until I saw the hole plugged, and that or saw the link bridged. And that was that Brett accosts the Doctor, and then all we ever had in the audio was it cut away, and then it cut back, and then it's the Doctor saying, well, it's brain versus brawn versus brain versus brawn, is it? Oh, and you left the key in the door.
I should say.
I'd never really felt a gap. And then when we saw the visual and you see Hartnell's hair's ruffled up and you realise they've just had a fracas.
Yeah.
And you think, oh, well, of course they have. We've missed the whole bit where they have a punch-up and Brett
That's really funny,
takes the key off the Doctor.
Try to use violence on me, young man.
Yeah. It's a beautiful moment seeing all of the ruffled hair.
And then we get the same thing that we jump from the Brett getting knocked out by Stephen, I think, and then we jump to the next thing we know, the Doctor's got him in his magnetic chair.
Yeah.
It's just,
Yes.
So I had specifically mentioned when we were going through episode 1 last time, I was interested in seeing that segment when Stephen knocks Brett out, because I'm thinking Stephen is virtually in a coma. How does he manage to do that? And it was actually quite nicely done. Purvis doesn't have any lines, but he does indicate, what the thought process that's going on. It's slightly undercut, I suppose, by him sort of falling over as he whacks Brett with the spanner. It's perhaps a little bit overdone, but I do like that whole. He's sort of demonstrating what he's intending to do just by gesture and by look rather than by lines. Very nice. Yeah, and I suppose just generally throughout the episode, great kind of looks to camera from Hartnell, a lot of close-ups, a lot of... Well, I'm saying a lot of shots very tightly framed, depending upon how much border they've had to cut out to get rid of the flickering frames. But I'm sure it's not that much they've cut out. So yeah, a lot of where you've got two people talking and there's somebody visible through the gap or whatever. Very, very nicely done.
I had never previously thought about the fact that Hartnell's famous propensity for making the most of his close-ups means that he was well aware of what the cameras were going to be doing, and that makes me think how much did all the actors know the camera script inside out, or at least as it pertained to them, or did some people just go in wandering? As long as they hit their marks, they weren't too worried about.
Well, interestingly, at Riverside, Peter Purvis said that Camfield, or he seemed to indicate that Camfield was unusual in that he would move as a camera, and therefore, if you were rehearsing a shot and Camfield was 8 inches from your face, you'd know you were going to be in close-up for that shot.
Yeah. Or very Graham Harper rushing about doing it viscerally. Yes. Not so much that Peter Greenway's standing back and making a little square out of your fingers. Interesting. Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
If directors had to sort of change the alignment to their hands now, because it used to be a sort of 4x3 you'd have to make, and now it's a sort of 16x9, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
or even wider than that.
That's. Oh, I see. No, you have to turn your. Yes, you have to turn one of the hands round so that you've got the two thumbs on the same side. Otherwise, unless you've always had to do that.
You can get quite wide frame that, can't you?
Yeah, you can. Yeah. Not quite CinemaScope unless you have to dislocate your thumb to get CinemaScope. But
yes. Now do anamorphic widescreen.
Gav's doing the Pertwee title sequence with his hands.
Yeah. How weird and alien that is.
Maverick Chen's finger movements.
Have we finished episode 1? The Nightmare Begins.
I think we're getting there. I don't know if anyone's got something else that they're desperate to say about it.
Only to sing the praises of so that final the Maverick Chen reveal is, I guess, what we've been led to expect, but it's very well done. And we get his little hand gestures and all of that malarkey again.
And the Daleks, again, talk about this ad nauseum, but they're so well drilled. There's a particular moment where you've got that shot just before Chen comes in and the camera is down looking at the floor.
Yeah.
You just see the skirts of the Daleks, and the one in the foreground moves with absolute precision and lines up perfectly with the Dalek behind it.
Yeah. Strange, isn't it? They're the same operators inside, the same props, and yet somehow they're not constantly crashing into each other or
and same with the cameras as well. You would believe that on productions with certain other directors that this was the first day that any of these cameramen had ever worked, and they were getting to grips with every control that they had and were propping the tops of the heads of actors and forgetting to point them in the right direction. And I don't know what the difference would be. You would think that under all of the same workflows of having a camera script and having your number assigned and having your position and knowing how to find an actor in a shot. But I guess if your director is not very strict on movement or not sort of enforcing a particular vision or stressing the importance of hitting your mark, then everyone's just a bit more lackadaisical. The chances of an actor not being in the right spot is greater, therefore the cameraman can't find them as easily.
Because they only would ever have had the one day of, essentially
Yeah.
everyone would have been in the same boat of having one day of the camera script. Presumably they had pre-knowledge of the camera script, but they still only had the one day in studio with all the real equipment. Can I just another thing that is, well, I don't think we mentioned, but the design of the Dalek City, and that is so integral to what makes the first two episodes work so well. This idea, all these vertical bars and shots through them and things like that, and that would be impossible in with a different layout and stuff like that. Must all have been thought through and been very integral to how Canfield wanted to mount this thing in the first place, I think. Yeah, it just makes you hungry to see some of the environments and things that we haven't seen yet.
Yeah, I mean, I like moving forward in episode 2. There's that kind of slightly weird setup where you've got the ramp that comes down, the Dalek comes down. I mean, how the Dalek doesn't fall off the ramp is beyond me, but it comes sort of very smoothly down it, whilst at the same time the delegates are sort of coming in either side of it. That's quite a impressive visual, considering the typical caliber. Well, I mean, look, that's unfair, but a lot of 1960s Doctor Who doesn't have anything quite as impressive as that. If that is our thoughts on episode 1, do you want to pause for a minute to get a cup of tea, go to the loo, whatever, and come back in 5 minutes and talk about the other?
You can't cut this one in half, can you?
He can and he will.
Who knows what I can do?
Hi, Gav.
How long ago did I join this podcast?
About
doing it
3 or 4 years ago, was it? I don't know.
Ah,
Yeah, you've been sort of a visitor to it for about 4 or 5 minutes, I would say.
Sometimes just a shadow.
Yeah.
So for the 4 minutes before I came towards the microphone, could you hear me calling the cats for 4 minutes?
No.
I couldn't, but I did notice a couple of times your picture came to the fore in the Zoom recording, which suggested there was some sound at your end.
But I don't
jingle jangle.
I don't think you'll need to worry about it.
Are we keeping this bit in, by the way?
We have
It might.
we have individual recordings, so
we've got
it
to
won't
keep
have
this
cut
in.
across.
Well,
It feels like it's. Sorry.
But
Hello?
what?
It's.
Hello. Could you just keep an eye out, Richard, for me entering Zoom on another account? I just need to charge my phone. Oh no, I've done it twice now. Oh no.
I know that wise robot anywhere.